Will I ever be happy with my child with special needs? If you're asking this question, I am so sorry you are feeling that way. It tells me that you are feeling unhappy or sad or some kind of conflictual way about this parenting journey. First of all, I commend you for reaching out, for trying to, understand yourself, your situation. This parenting journey is so difficult. Now, add in developmental, physical, mental needs on top of that, and it takes the parenting to a whole nother level. Hopefully, I'll be able to provide some support and some understanding with this video and my channel. That's the whole point of why I'm doing this. So it makes sense that you would be feeling some of the challenges that are inherent in this kind of parenting journey. A lot of the parenting advice that is out there, a lot of the books, which I have read my fair share of those, let's say more general parenting books, are really not meant for your child. They certainly were not meant for mine, and so then I would feel even worse because a lot of the advice, a lot of the ideas and philosophies in these books really just did not apply to my kid. And I would think what is wrong with me and what is wrong with him? There are books that are very helpful on this journey. That's a whole other post or video, which I will do, but another time. Another reason why you may be feeling this way is that having special needs is portrayed as tragic. I mean, how many good stories do you hear, or how many, and not even just good stories, we'll talk about that in a second, but how many stories do you hear about the day-to-day that are full of joy, that are full of good moments? Those are hard to come by. Pretty much given kind of a mourn what you expected to be your parenting journey. You mourn who you expected your child to be, which, by the way, I'm not sure you can expect your children to be anything other than who they are, and you will never know who they are until they become who they are. So not sure about that kind of advice. You get ready for endless doctor's appointments and therapies and pretty much to be isolated for the rest of your parenting journey. And by the way, I made two videos, one about the isolation of parenting a child with special needs and another tips video. I'll link them here or, in the comments down below. Yeah, so pretty much the message is life will never be the same. Get ready for the struggle, and then there's the aspect of people kind of pitying you, that when you describe your parenting situation, and luckily I actually haven't had this happen that much, but that look of concern or pity pretty much where, let me see if I can conjure it up, but I've had this look sometimes, but it's kind of I don't know if I did such a great job of that, but I think you know what I'm talking about if you've experienced that, is that, the message is, wow, I mean, you just must have it so hard, and I really pity you, and I can't even imagine. Now, let's differentiate. Sometimes we need that little bit of emotional support and to hear that. But really, the message here is that all parenting is hard. We're all in this together. And if you're parenting a child with extra needs, that isn't the message from the greater society. It's like you guys are over here because that is not the typical parenting. So there's no way that people can understand what you're going through, which I just don't think is true. And I'm kind of working towards changing that. Now, the other thing that I mentioned a little bit earlier, which was, it's either tragedy or, kind of portrayed as this inspo porn. If you're not familiar with that term, it's inspiration porn. It was coined by Stella Young, who was an Australian disabilities advocate who actually has a wonderful TED Talk if you want to check that out. And you know what this is. I'm sure you've seen it. It goes, these kind of videos and posts go viral on Facebook and social media where it's about, the autistic kid in the neighborhood who's shut out of everything, and then all the kids get band together, and for one day he is like the king of the neighborhood, or the kids with Down syndrome get crowned prom king and queen. Those kinds of stories. Now, did those ever get to me and I felt all warm and fuzzy when I saw those? Of course. But then I kind of had to think a little bit further about that. And that's why this is called inspiration porn, because it's more for like the audience to feel good about themselves as opposed to helping in any way the subject of the topic, like the kids with Down syndrome or the autistic kid. Like it's really more for our pleasure, and it kind of objectifies them. It sort of reduces them to these moments of inspiration for us. It's kind of disturbing if you think about it. So, we want to think about what is it like for those kids, for those parents day to day, and how can we make this world a better place overall day to day, rather than in those kind of grand moments that don't really help in any significant way, honestly. So I know with a lot of this, my videos, this topic, I try to be very sensitive about everything I'm talking about. Maybe a lot of you will disagree with me. That is completely okay. As long as you're respectful, I love to kind of engage in dialogue and even, learn more. Sometimes and I'll admit it, that I don't know everything, and I'm also coming at this from my personal story, experience with my child, my clinical experience. It's my experience. So that may not be everybody's experience. I hope that I create a place where it's safe, where you can come here and have support, kind of figure out what's going on in your own mind, and that it feels helpful. So thanks for watching, and if you like what I'm talking about, if you want to hear more, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.